What will happen to Tesla's stock price once Tesla solves FSD, but more importantly, license it out? And what I mean by that is they license it out to other automakers like GM, Ford, like what's happening with the supercharger network. Kind of the same thing happening with FSD, and in my opinion and in my view, someone's going all in into Tesla stock. This is inevitable. Once Tesla solves FSD, give it 3 years time, 4 years time, maybe a whole lot sooner, because Elon Musk did say that version 12 will no longer be beta. So it looks like we're closer than we think. But nonetheless, once this gets solved 100% to the point that government approves it, regulatory approvals, it's inevitable that once this happens, everyone else wants to have FSD in their vehicles. And we know that Waymo and Cruise aren't scalable. Tesla's is. So the question comes now, what will happen to Tesla's stock price by 2030 and a little bit beyond that once this happens? Because this is an absolute sheesh moment. I can't wrap my head around it. So I'm going to share with you guys, and I want your opinion on this, because literally, if this happens, it's a sheesh moment. I can't wrap my head around. Anyways, let's get down to it. All I ask in return is a like and subscribe if you haven't already. And have you guys gotten your I Bought the Dip Tesla shirt? If not, then what are you guys doing, man? If you guys bought the Tesla dip, then you guys need this shirt. Come on, man. But no, seriously, guys, I did make this shirt. And if you guys want to support me, here's one way or the other. Link in the card in the corner or in the description. All right, now let's get down to the video. So in order to figure out how much FSD licensing will impact Tesla stock, we got to figure out how many electrical vehicles will be on the market by 2030. That would include pretty much the whole market, not just Tesla. Again, Ford, GM, Volkswagen, all the other guys. I mean, if they do make it to 2030. But let's just say, and most likely, according to the International Energy Agency, they're saying that by 2030, there's going to be 350 million EVs on the road. That's a lot of flipping EVs, and obviously that's not all going to be Tesla. So we have to see how much market share Tesla is going to grab and how much of the rest of the market is going to grab out of this 350 million by 2030. So we can determine how much of it is going to be licensed out through Tesla's FSD, how much market share Tesla is going to get through that way. So that's going to be very interesting. And this is the chart that I made here for it. I know it's a bit long, but it's pretty darn detailed. Let's start off with Tesla deliveries from 2021 all the way to 2030. Now we do extend to 2032 as well, but let's leave that at the end of the video because that is a sheesh moment. It really is, and I can't wrap my head around it. But anyways, 2021, we can see the deliveries of 936,000. Then we have 1.3 million in 2022. 2023, it's estimated to do 1.8. Although we are getting a little bit more than 1.8 for this year, I'm just going to put 1.8 to stay conservative. After that, 35% growth year over year. Guys, I'm not a bear. I'm going all in Tesla stock. Don't say I'm a bear. But I'm keeping things conservative, right? Not 50%, but 35%. Up until 2028, then 2029 and 2030 would be 30%, which would give us 13.6 million vehicle deliveries by 2030. I mean, most of you guys would go like, no, man, it has to be 20 million. No, guys. Yes, 20 million is going to happen, but I don't think by 2030. There's a lot of hiccups on the way. And to have such a strict, narrow goal to 20 million, regardless of whatever happened, is a little bit, don't want to say naive, and I don't want to say ignorant, but we got to keep this realistic. Then we got here the global EV deliveries. So overall, how many electric vehicles will be delivered every single year? Now, I know this is a bit of a misleading, not deliveries. I think this is more of a total accumulative vehicles on the road. So I may have to change deliveries to accumulation. Actually, let's change that right now so there's no confusion. All right, that's much better. So again, according to the International Energy Agency, they're saying that 350 million vehicles will be on the road by 2030, electric vehicles by 2030, starting off by end of 2021 of 16.5 million EVs on the road. So if they're saying 350 million vehicles on the road by 2030, that's a little bit over 40% growth year over year, which is absolutely insane. Now, here's the interesting part. Elon Musk said that by 2030, all vehicles that will be sold, 80% of it will be electric vehicles. The International Energy Agency is saying 60% of it. And we're going to go based on the 60% just to stay conservative. We know Elon Musk You know, Elon's guess, we all know what happens when Elon guesses. It usually takes a few years after for it to happen. So that's why going based on 60% is a little bit more conservative. Now, we got to figure out how much total Tesla vehicles will be on the road. That's what OTR stands for, on the road. From 2021 and prior, there was over 2.3 million Tesla vehicles on the road. Now in 2022, since they did over 1.3 million vehicles, that adds up to the 2.3 and so on and so forth, all the way down to 2030, which should be almost at 54 million vehicles on the road for Tesla entirely. Now, 54 million vehicles on the road globally by 2030. Some people will look at this and say that's extremely bearish. It should be at least 100 million. Personally, guys, I wish that was the case, but I just don't know how they're going to reach the 100 million by 2030. They will absolutely reach 100 million, maybe a couple of years after this, but by 2030, realistically, I don't think so. Now let's move on to the difference, which is pretty much deducting the total Tesla vehicles on the road from the global EV accumulation. And these are numbers that we get. To simplify it even more, the market share for Tesla, here are the percentages. It looks like for the medium, it's around 17%, which by 2030, even if they do 13.6 million vehicles, that's 15% market share. Now, I do feel like this is a little bit bearish, but we have to stay conservative just in case. Most likely it'll be closer to 20%, maybe surpassing a little bit of the 20%, but we're gonna wait and see what Tesla does. I am looking forward to their 6th Gigafactory announcement sooner than later. The more we can have more Gigafactories and the more upgrades that we can get per Gigafactory, that's a bullish sign to having more vehicles on the road. Here comes the fun part. Vehicles adopting Tesla's FSD. Now, obviously, this is extremely speculation and always take everything with a grain of salt, and this is for your entertainment purposes. In my opinion, if by 2026, Tesla's FSD is no longer beta and you can actually use that, we do get some approval here and there and things start to move forward in Tesla's favor in terms of government coming in and regulating it, then we can probably see announcements in 2026 from Ford, GM, saying that they're going to be adapting Tesla's FSD, just like what's going on today, like right now with Tesla's supercharger network. That would mean they would have to get their vehicles ready for the FSD software, meaning they have to put the right cameras that Tesla recommends them to. So I'm predicting that by 2026 they will announce such thing, Ford and GM, and they'll get them ready by 2027. Comment down below, do you think this is realistic? I have no idea, but this is how it will go down if it goes down this way. But nonetheless, I'm saying by 2027, 5% out of the 105 million electric vehicles on the road globally, only 5% of it is going to adapt Tesla's FSD. And that comes down to over 5.2 million vehicles that will adapt Tesla's FSD, which is now pocket change. But the year after that, 10% will adapt it. Now, obviously, we do have to subtract the 5.2 million from that. Otherwise, we're doing it twice per each vehicle, which doesn't make any sense. 10% of this number, subtracting the 5.2 million, we get over 9.5 million vehicles adapting Tesla's FSD. Almost a double the year after that. Sheesh! In 2029, a 15% increase, same formula as the year before. We get almost 22 million vehicles that adapts Tesla's FSD. Same thing in 2030, but instead 20%, and we get more than 37.5 million vehicles adopting Tesla's FSD. So if we add them all together, that is over 18.5 million vehicles that Tesla's FSD will be adopted on other vehicles that's non-Tesla. Let's see how much money they will make from this. If we say that the monthly charge that they charge these Ford and GM for licensing it out for $200 a month. And shout out to Oracle Investments for this, because he gave me this idea that Tesla will charge the other automakers for using Tesla's FSD the same amount Tesla charges their own customer, which will be at the moment $200 a month. And the other automakers can increase it to $250 or $300 so they can profit from that as well. Now again, this is all speculation. This may not happen, but this idea does make sense in a way. So I took this idea as a rough estimate, you could say, and let's see what happens. And by the way, guys, by 2027, do you guys think that the monthly charge for FSD will be $200 a month? I don't think so. I think it's gonna be more closer to $300, maybe even $400. But nonetheless, let's just keep it simple, $200 a month. Monthly revenue payment to Tesla in 2027 is over $1 billion. Then it's $1.9 billion. Then it's $4.37 billion. Then it's over $7.5 billion. Now, all we have to do is multiply this by 12 because these are monthly, and we get the annual revenue payment that has to be paid to Tesla in 2027, over $12.5 billion in revenue. 2028, almost $23 billion, almost 100% increase. That's absolutely, that's crazy. 2029, $52.5 billion. That's a 2x. That's more than a 2x. Look at that exponential growth. Sheesh. And then 2030, $90 billion in revenue. That's just the revenue. Let's look at the profits. And according to Elon Musk, he's saying that 80% when it comes to these things, to autonomous driving and licensing it out and robotaxi, all that kind of stuff. I mean, licensing is pretty much 100% all profit, but let's just say 80%, over 10 billion in 2027, and then over 18 billion, and then over 42 billion by 2029, and over 72 billion by 2030. That's absolutely insane. Let's see how insane the stock price would be when we add these numbers in. If you guys are ready, smash that like button, because it's gonna get really juicy. So here's a stock price prediction chart. Very straight and simple, straightforward to understand. We got the vehicle deliveries, we got energy here, we got FSD global revenue. Now again, this is also speculation. And then we have the FSD licensing revenue and the licensing profits, which we're gonna add right now. Just a heads up guys, the FSD global revenue and profits, it is based on a more of a bearer case than what it is now. So that's even conservative, but this is even if this happens. If you guys recall the FSD global revenue and profit, it's when Tesla, with a snap of a finger, makes FSD available for all Tesla vehicles around the world that allows FSD to be used in their country. Snap of a finger. That's what this FSD is. And that's coming maybe in 2-3 years time. I could be wrong, but I'm assuming that if version 12 is going to be not beta, well, then we're closer than we think. But anywho, just to recap, guys, the stock price in 2023 with a 65 PE, 231 bucks per share. I'm saying this is the average. I'm not saying this is what we're going to end off the year with. We could end off the year by this. Who knows? But I'm saying the average for this year, we could end off the year by around 231 bucks per share on the average. Right now, if we give a 75 PE, that's around 267 bucks per share, which kind of what it is right now. But keeping it conservative, 231 bucks per share. In 2024, with a PE of 60, 365 bucks per share. 2025, 55 PE, 600 bucks per share. And then 2026, 836 bucks per share. 2027, 1,058 bucks per share. And 2028, 1327, over 4 trillion in market cap. 2029, almost reaching 1,600 bucks per share, over 5 trillion in valuation. And 2030, 1836, at a market cap almost reaching $6 trillion, which is absolutely insane. Again, we'll do 2031 and 2032 after this. So if you guys are ready to see what the stock price would be once we add the Tesla FSD licensing, the revenue and profits, then you guys smash that like button because it's gonna get real wild. Guys ready? Let's go. 2027, revenue is 360 billion, net income gap 82.3 billion, operating margin 22.6 as soon as FSD licensing comes into play. Boom! From 22.6% operating margin to 24.6, we have revenue going up about 11 billion and net income non-GAAP to $92 billion. Stock price went from 10.59 to 11.88. That's insane. And obviously the PE will be a bit higher than this if this happens, because now analysts and institutions go like, hold on a second, then we have another source of revenue and income for this company. This is valued more. They're going to make more money now. Their EPS in the future is going to be more. So hence it's cheaper now. So they'll start buying and they'll start raising, their targets and all that kind of stuff. Just like what's happening with NVIDIA right now. Same thing is going to happen once this comes along. I mean, not just this. Once FSD Global comes, that's going to happen. Once more energy comes to play, that's going to happen. Once robotaxi comes, which is not even included here, that's going to happen. So revenue over 470 billion, 24.5% operating margin, net income non-GAAP 116 billion. Let's go ahead and add it. Bam! 27% operating margin, almost $500 billion in revenue. Net income non-GAAP over $134 billion. Stock price 1537, up from 1327, and the market cap reaching 5 trillion. A slap on of $700 billion of just market cap in 2028. Absolutely insane. Moving on to 2029. At the moment, 26.3 operating margin, over $600 billion in revenue. Net income non-GAAP almost reaching 160 billion. Stock price 1590, 5.2 trillion in market cap. Adding the FSD licensing, oh my God. Stock price over 2,000, market cap 6.5 trillion, net income non-GAAP over 200 billion. That's just that's insane. That jump was insane. We just got 1.5 trillion valuations added on to that for the year of 2029. That's why I can't wrap my hand around it. It's just insane. Let's see how insane 2030 is going to be. Right now, revenue is $750 billion. Net income non-GAAP over $215 billion. Stock price $18.39 and market cap almost $6 trillion. Adding FSD. Oh my God. Stock price of $24.53. Market cap $8 trillion. That's insane. That's absolutely insane. With a 30 PE, that's 8 trillion market cap by 2030. Now, obviously, if this happens by 2030 and we're getting the licensing going out like this, a 30 PE is too low for this, man. A 40 PE would make more sense, which would be over 10 trillion. Oh, there's your 10x plus, man. There's your 10x plus investment if this actually happens. It's absolutely insane. But I'm just going to go back to 30 PE just to keep it conservative. Now, we're not done yet, right? I mean, this is amazing, but check out what's going to happen after 2030 because exponential growth loves Tesla stock, loves Tesla. It's just insane what it does to Tesla stock. So check this out. I mean, you guys need to smash that like button to see this. Has that been smashed? All right, check it out. So let's go back to that first sheet and let's add the other 2 years of 2031 and 2032. So in 2031, Tesla deliveries, I'm seeing 30% growth from 2030. That's over 17.5 million vehicle deliveries. 2032, a 25% growth, and we get over 22 million vehicle deliveries. So there's your 20 million year over year. When it comes down to the global EV accumulation, I dropped it down from 40% for 2031 to 35% and then 30% in 2032. Overall, if we just add this entire thing up, how many EVs will be on the road or ever sold, it's gonna be over 2.2 billion vehicles, electric vehicles on the road. That's a lot of electric vehicles on the road by 2032. Not necessarily on the road, but ever sold. And that's just insane. And obviously Tesla vehicles on the road gets added up automatically because we figured out the deliveries. And overall, we can see by 2032, or just in general, overall, there'll be almost 100 million vehicles, just Tesla alone on the road. That's just absolutely insane. The difference, if you subtract the Tesla vehicles on the road from the actual global EV market, it's about just below 2.2 billion vehicles, which is absolutely flippin' insane. In 2031, 2032, again, we're still seeing a 15% market share for Tesla. Now, of course, I do think this is going to be a bit more to 20%. I think the global EV accumulation is a little bit bullish. It's either they're too bullish or Tesla is too bearish. It's either one. I do think it's one or the other, but let's keep going forward. 2031, vehicles adopt Tesla's FSD is 63 million if it's 25%, because there was 20% the year before and 15% the year before. Remember that? Now it's 25%, we get 63 million. And then in 2032, 30%, because exponential growth loves Tesla, almost reaching 94 million vehicles that adopt Tesla's FSD. And check this out, guys. Same everything when it comes to monthly charge and everything. Annual payment to Tesla, which is the revenue, $151 billion in 2031. And over $224 billion in 2032. Just look at the profit. Look at the profits. That's insane. $180 billion just coming from the licensing part. Is that even possible? Is that even can this actually happen? I don't know, man. I can't wrap my hand around. That's just insane. But let's add this to stock price, see what I could do to 2031 and 2032. It's going to be an absolute sheesh moment. I can feel it. So in 2031, right now, 39.7% operating margin, total revenue of over $850 billion, and a non-GAAP net income over $339 billion, stock price of $26.45, and a market cap over $8.6 trillion. Let's go ahead and add it, man. It's gonna be absolutely insane what's gonna happen. And look at that, from $26.45 to almost $3,100 per share, from 8.6 trillion to over 10 trillion. That's insane. That's crazy. Right now, over 1 trillion. Already 1 trillion in revenue, 436 billion non-GAAP net income, 30.86 in stock price, over 10 trillion in market cap. Add the FSD and stock price over 3,600 and a market cap of almost reaching 12 trillion, 1.3 trillion in revenue and over $500 billion in net income. This is unreal. This is absolutely ridiculous. And this is why I kept saying, banging on the table, that Tesla FSD is a game changer and it's a much bigger business than the car business, because you're being exposed to the competition, to the other automaker. It's just absolutely insane. It's crazy. You know what else is crazy? We're given 2032 a PE of 25. Do you think a PE of 25 makes sense when they're growing like this year over year? Apple is growing 6 to 8% year over year and they have a PE of 30. Tesla is growing here 20-30% year. 25 PE? No, man. a 40 PE makes more sense. And look at that. Oh my God. Stock price almost reaching 6,000. Market cap almost reaching 19 trillion. Yeah. I don't know. I'm going to keep it back to 25. I can't wrap my head around that. My price target for Tesla stock by 2030, and this excluding everything, is 1413, or a market cap of just $4.5 trillion. If we can get more than double that by 2030, oh my God, I'm going to be such a happy Pejjy. It's going to be on flipping ridiculous. It's going to be ridiculous. That's all I got to say. But again, guys, this is a prediction and a prediction alone. So take all this with the slightest grain of salt and take this for your entertainment purposes. The day that Tesla does FSD licensing, forget it. The day that Tesla does FSD global with a snap of a finger, then we can talk about more about this FSD stuff. Actually, you know what? Let's go ahead and remove these and see what the stock price would be. Let's just go ahead and remove it. Bam. Look at that. By 2030, even with that, we get a market cap over 5 trillion and a stock price of $1,600 per share. So even then, I mean, that's still a 5-6x. Take all this with a grain of salt. And just take all this with a grain of salt. That's all I gotta say. So there you guys have it. I mean, I just can't comprehend these numbers. I can't wrap my head around these numbers, which is just, it's gonna be insane. If this happens, then I don't know what to say. Which, I mean, this sounds too good to be true. Let's see what happens. But you know what is too good to be true and actually is true? Tesla's ecosystem. Check this video out. It's the most proudest video I've ever made, covering how Tesla's ecosystem works. I'm really proud of this video, so I know you guys will enjoy it. So check it out. You won't be disappointed. Get your I Bought the Dip merch, man. Come on, and subscribe if you haven't already, and I shall see you guys in the next video. See ya.